right, so today we're going to dive into this really fascinating document. Now, on the surface, it just looks like a simple relocation brief for an assistant. But if you look just a little bit closer, you'll see it reveals this powerful lesson in how to blend, cold, hard logistics with real, genuine human connection.
And that's really where we're going to start, because every plan, it tells a story. Behind every single checklist, every timeline, there's a person. And this plan, for a client named Joyce, is just a perfect example of how even the most buttoned-up plans tell a deeply human story.
Okay, so first up, let's just look at the practical side of things, the logistical blueprint. This is the foundation of the whole task, the what that needs to get done. So at first glance, this whole thing seems pretty simple, right? The mission's clear: help Joyce move from San Antonio to Austin by 2026. This looks like a totally standard request, but as we're about to see, the specifics start to paint a much, much richer picture. And yeah, this isn't just about finding any old apartment in Austin. Nope. The brief gets way more specific, outlining this clear set of needs that's going to guide the entire search, which brings us to her specific housing criteria. The level of detail here is really telling. Joyce is looking for a duplex, and it has to be affordable. She wants the energy and internet bills all managed, and the property itself has to be well maintained. These aren't just random preferences. They really paint a picture of someone who's looking for stability, for simplicity in her next chapter. All right, so we've got the logistics down, but this is where the entire plan pivots. There's this one single piece of information that reframes the whole task from just a to-do list into something deeply human. I mean, this seems like a standard relocation plan, doesn't it? We've got a destination, a timeline, a checklist of what she needs in a house. It all seems pretty straightforward. But like I said, this case is anything but standard. So the original document actually includes this exact flag, a literal context alert. It's basically a signal to the assistant to, pause, pay really close attention, because what's coming next is the single most important part of the entire plan. And there it is. Just one line: Dad died. All of a sudden, this isn't just a client named Joyce anymore. This is a person who's navigating a huge move while grieving a really profound loss. This one detail completely transforms the objective from find a house to support a person through a really difficult life transition. So how do you even respond to that, right? How does the assistant take all that logistical data and this critical human context and just weave them together into one effective message? This is exactly where strategy meets empathy. And this slide just illustrates the thought process perfectly. I mean, look at the structure of the reply. The very first thing after the greeting. It's not logistics, it's condolences. Humanity comes first. It's placed right there at the top. Yeah, the draft message starts right here. Before a single mention of real estate, there's just a simple, direct, and sincere expression of sympathy. It immediately builds this foundation of care, of trust. It's basically saying to Joyce, I see you, not just your request. This breaks it down so well. The reply is really a masterclass in serving two totally different needs at the same time. On one hand, it's addressing the practical, logistical need by suggesting concrete areas like North Loop or Hyde Park that actually fit her criteria, but at the exact same time, it's meeting that unspoken human need for acknowledgement and for support. Okay, let's zoom out for a second, because what we're looking at here is so much more than just good customer service. It's actually a strategic approach that has a real, tangible impact. So let's give this a name. Let's call it compassionate strategy. It's the conscious choice to see the human context behind the data, and then to let that context guide your actions. It's not about throwing the plan out the window, it's about making the plan better by making it more human. And this is the key transformation. By starting with that simple phrase, I am so sorry, the assistant changes the entire dynamic. What could have been just a simple, forgettable transaction now has the potential to become a real trusted relationship. Joyce is way more likely to feel understood, to feel supported, and in the end, to be more satisfied with the whole outcome. And that really brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. This principle isn't just for relocation assistance. It doesn't matter if you're a manager, a designer, a coder, a consultant. Take a look at the plans and the data in front of you. Where is the human story? And maybe ask yourself, how can a small, compassionate gesture completely transform your next project?